Hello YouTube and good evening. The kids are all in bed and tonight's project is my trusty 3/8 snap-on ratchet. Putting a water pump on a couple weekends ago and the little on-off selector broke off. As was explained to me by my brother who gifted this to me, the off is to take parts off and the on is to put parts on a car. It took me about a year to guess that and I had to ask him. Anyways, so I called Snap-on Corporate, and if you've never had to do that, Snap-on Corporate is absolutely amazing. I got an American-speaking individual somewhere over in the Midwest in about 30 seconds of calling, and he said, "It's not a problem, sir. Give us your address, and we'll send you an entire rebuild kit for the Ratchet." This model is a FLF80. But I imagine about any 80-tooth ratchet is probably the same guts, or mostly, I don't really know that. So, we're going to take it apart and put it back together with good parts, presumably. Now, in today's irony, the only T10 I happen to have in the garage came out of this incredibly Chinese little precision bit kit that I got off Amazon. So we're going to use the cheapest tool I own to take apart one of the nicer tools that I own, because I love that. You know what? And before we spread this thing all apart, okay, screws are going to come loose good, so why don't we take a look at the rebuild kit, which I have not even looked at, and see what the world they came with. Okay, yeah, there's the part we need right there, and it looks like a lot of parts we probably don't need. So I guess the question is, do we leave well enough alone inside the ratchet, or do we replace everything? Ooh, there's a tiny, tiny little ball bearing. All right, let's be careful with that. I'll put that inside there. It looks like a gasket. And we got a little pawl or brake and a spring. It even comes with fresh screws. Wow, that's awesome. Oh, they send you with lubricant. That's nice. I was actually wondering what the appropriate thing would be. That's the object of our desire right there. So let's get into this. I have no idea what I'm doing here, which is usually the best way to do anything, I find. Just kidding, of course. This appears to be under spring tension. It's kind of springing up underneath of my thumb. So if you're taking one of these apart yourself, we'll put the model number in this description, so if you're looking for this, you know, with a search function, you got a shot at finding it. Oh, there's a spring right there, I get it. Okay, and there's a gasket. Looks like it, let me get a little pick and see where that gasket is. Mind that spring right there. That looks like it wants to come flying out. Okay, the gasket lived right there. And looks like the part with the little ridge goes on the bottom. You see that? That's the bottom. That's the top as assembled. So I'm going to lay it in the direction it's supposed to go for reference later. I try to lay all my parts out. See if I can get that on camera. I try to lay my parts out in a way where, you know, like we'll put the new stuff here and we'll put the old stuff here. I try to lay them in order too, typically. It kind of helps the feeble-minded among us, namely myself. Okay, there's the spring coming out. And that's where the little ball is, it looks like. Well, that ball lives in the second bore right there. Pull that out. We're going to put that in the gasket there so it doesn't go flying on us. Oh, that just comes, oh, okay. That just comes straight out and loose. So I've had this ratchet for 7 or 8 years and used it as a weekend warrior to fix my own broken cars off and on. And I can't really see any appreciable wear. Man, I mean, some of the edges of the teeth have a slight shine to them, like they've been used. Oh, there's a little bit of a nick. I doubt the camera will pick that up, but it's there. That's good enough to put back in. I think I'm just going to reuse all the original parts because I'm not having any other issues with it, and maybe I'll regret that, but if I do, so what? I have the kit sitting here and I'll basically just have to keep track of it, I guess. Does this have a top and bottom? Yeah, look at that. So there's little teeth or nubs on the bottom of that. I'm going to put that in the right direction. And this pops. Oh, that's loose. A little spring detent for the back of that thing, I suppose. Okay. I'm not really filming this for entertainment value. We'll just say I'm filming it so I can get this ratchet back together. Oh, look at that. So the broken lever basically is popping out the back side, and there's nothing to that. It's held in by the works. I asked Snap-on really specifically if they've had any issues with that. I asked the guy that I had on the phone if they've had a lot of issues with that particular, manner of braking, and he said it's the first he's heard of, and he's worked there for years. What's funny is I did not drop the ratchet or do anything terrible with it, and it doesn't see professional service at all. Well, that's backwards. There we go. It doesn't see any sort of professional service. Like I said, just, the auto repair. It probably sees its way to daylight twice a month at the most. So it's kind of funny that it broke. Now, what's interesting is my brother, who gifted this to me, got me a quarter, a 3/8, and a half, and he actually did that for me and my dad at the same time. I have no idea if this is really the appropriate manner to lubricate this ratchet. Somebody can tell me in the comment section if that's a good thing to do or not. Looks like what I would do if I was building it. So he gifted my dad and I a quarter, 3/8, and a half version of this ratchet, and he bought himself the same at the same time. And what's interesting is I texted him the other week when this went, and I said, "Hey, what's the deal?" And laughing, and he says, he said he could not believe it. He said, believe it or not, his half-inch did exactly the same thing like 2 days prior to this one. And he said kind of the same thing. He works on equipment, and he said he basically had it inside an engine bay working on a piece of equipment and pulled it out, and the part was just flat missing, which is literally my exact experience. Okay. Well, I've done something wrong here because it's not turning. What did I do? It's got to have to do with these little nubs on the bottom of that. They probably did not land in the places they're supposed to land, said the expert that has no idea what he's talking about. Isn't it great that we could all put videos on YouTube with no idea what we're doing? I think that's awesome. You too can take apart your Snap-on ratchet. Well, we've successfully brought it back to the point where it wasn't working a minute ago. Let's just think that spring might go in second. Oh, you know what? I bet both of those little teeth have to go inside that. Like that. Alright, so if this is correct, I think both the little nubs has to go there and one's got to go there, and of course that kind of makes sense, or they both wouldn't really have any effect on the operation. This is the dangers of working all day and then coming home and bathing your kids and putting them to bed and then taking apart your tools. I hope you guys can see this. My hands are probably in the way. Do that, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do that. Oh yes, that is significantly more correct. Alright, we'll put a little bit of goober in for good measure. Actually, if there's most of it up, that's probably a good sign. And then the little ball goes in right there, and the spring goes in right there. And let's make sure I put the, oh yes, I put the handle on that's not broken, so we are definitely doing well here. I'm even going to be brave and use the old seal again. What's the worst that could happen? To get to take it apart. All the parts are in? Yes, all the parts are in. Case closes. Goes that way. Goes that way. All right. There is a little bit of blue Loctite on these T10 Torx, so you'll kind of feel that when you take it apart. Kind of figure if you're taking apart your snap-on ratchet, you probably know to work through that. Okie dokie. Well, YouTube, I think that's it. Looks like we have a good looking lever, and it works both ways, and I got a bunch of rebuild stuff. Alright, the cheapest screwdriver in the world fixed one of the nicer ratchets I've ever touched. Good deal. See you later.